Hello, and welcome to today's historic best of 3 deck tech and gameplay video. Today's deck tech in question is on Sea Creature Control. I wanted to make a Azorius control deck that was a little different than your Ultra Super Mega Control one that just wins off the back of like Shark Tornadoes and Teferi Heroes, so I figured we'd do this. And the reason why we went with the sea creature part of it is simply because I kind of always enjoyed Slyn Voda, and was sort of the card that inspired this whole deck to sort of be. Slyn Voda, the Rising Deep, is 6 and 2 blue for an 8/8 legendary Leviathan, and you can kick it for 1 and a blue. When Slyn Voda enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return all creatures to their owner's hands except for merfolk, krakens, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents, i.e. sea creatures, for the rest of this video. And with Slyn Voda as the kind of card upon which everything was built, we're running a few weird cards, but fun cards. We have 3 copies of Kior Best the Sea God, is 5 and 2 blue for a Saga. Chapter 1, you just make an 8/8 Kraken with hexproof. Chapter 2 is you tap all non-land permanents an opponent controls, and they don't unstep during the next controller's untap step. Nice for getting your Krakens through, or the other creatures this deck has. It's nice to sort of like clear the way and get some damage through. And the final chapter is gain control of target permanent and opponent controls and untap it. This is good simply because I can take the best thing, or we can take the best thing off of an opponent's board, be it a creature, artifact, or even a good land, or whatever permanent in question. Along with the, we have a couple more pieces of sea creature tribal support, or, well, sea creatures, we'll just call it. We have Nadir Kraken, which is 1 and 2 blue for a 2/3 Kraken. And whenever we draw a card, we pay 1 generic mana. If you do, gets a 1/1 counter on it, and makes a 1/1 blue tentacle creature token. It's a Kraken that gets... It's a Kraken so it doesn't get bounced by Slyn Voda, and it does make an army of tentacles that you can use either to block or to attack if you need to. Granted, the tentacles do get swept away by the Slyn Voda, but the tentacles aren't the reason why we run the card. It's more that Nadir Kraken is a ever-growing threat that can help us, end the game. The tentacle tokens are just a little extra gravy. And the other kind of sea creature clock we have in the deck is Ominous Seas. 1 and a blue enchantment that says when you draw a card, put a Force Shadow counter on Ominous Seas. You can remove 8 of the counters from Ominous Seas, and you get to keep it, and you can create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. We're going to be drawing cards as a control deck is wont to do, so it's a nice way to generate 1 or 2 Krakens over the course of a game. And I figured if we're doing a sea creature control, it's nice and on theme. And the rest of the shell is more or less just kind of a good little deck. Or a good little control deck. We run counter magics in the form of 3 absorbs and 4 Dovin Vetos, just because we like counter magic. And, we don't want to let all of our opponent's things resolve. We run 3 Deputy of Detentions and 4 Skyclave Apparitions. The 3 deputies are... Deputies are kind of a side-grade version of a Skyclave Apparition. Of course, the deputy can get more than one thing, which is oftentimes what we're wanting to do, since with the relatively recent banning of Uro, a lot more aggro-y creature decks are back, which is a good thing. So you can usually get some sort of value out of this. And we have 4 Skyclave Apparitions. Honestly, one of the best white removal spells in the format, in my humble opinion. It's just a 2/2 for... or 1 and 2 blue, or 2 white, for a 2/2 spirit. When you enters, you can exile a 4-cost thing and down. And when it leaves, the exile's card owner does not get the card exiled in question back. They just get a token equal to its converted mana cost, which is always beneficial, or more beneficial than them getting the creature back. We run 2 little Behold the Multiverse, just nice ways to scry and draw cards. The ability to foretell it and just kind of tuck it away from hand hate is relevant. Same thing with Doomskar. It's a sweeper, and the ability to foretell it and tuck it away from sort of stuff hand hates is more relevant than one would imagine. We have one little Maskwood Nexus as a fun little goofy thing, and I figured it kind of worked with our Sea Creature Tribal, not only making our we'll say prison creatures Kraken, so they can eventually survive a slit and Voda. Also helps to make shapeshifters who are changelings, which of course are everything, as well, which again are good for the slit and Voda, but can also just as well be used to just end the game normally. We are, however, this card will often get cut game 1. This is more of just a surprise factor turn 1, or game 1, sorry. And I'm running 3 Alrund's Epiphany. I think this is a more balanced time walk effect, and sometimes you just need the extra turn to like close out the game. Also, making 2 little chump blockers in the form of the Burbs is more relevant than one would imagine. We also, for our big honk and win con, we run 2 Ugin the Spirit Dragons. Everyone knows Ugin, 8 mana walker with 7 loyalty when it comes into play. You can +2 it to bolt something. You can -X to exile each non-land permanent with CMC X or less. That's one of our colors, which is basically most things, except for, what's that called? Mono brown decks, or mud sometimes. And the ult is just a nice ult that if you happen to get it, the game's probably already over. We also run 2 Seagate Restorations as a way to get some card draw if we need it, or just to be an untapped blue source. Rest of the lands we have are pretty normal. We're not running snow mana for this instance on our deck. We just have 4 Hallowed Fountains. I have 3 Temple of Enlightenments, and I have 1 Hingegate Pathway. Just good color fixing. And because we're a control deck, we don't mind scrying as much. Or, we don't mind taking a turn off to scry, since we're trying to go late anyway. Also running 3 Gates of Istfel. It's just a nice little tap land that you can cash in for card draw and life gain later, which can be more relevant than one would imagine. As far as sideboard, we have Gravedigger's Cages for, say, your Muxus decks, even though those are incredibly rare now, at least anecdotally. And say your Collected Company really messing things up. We have 2 Devout Decrees against the return of mono red and mono black decks, which is again a good thing to happen. So sometimes it's nice to just be able to exile, your Phyrexian opponents, or your opponent's Phyrexian Obliterators, or your Rekindling Phoenix, or what have you. For a similar reason, we run Aether Gust. A lot of elf decks are coming back out, and again, for all the aforementioned reasons that we like the Devout Decree for red hate is the reason why we like the Aether Gust. Again, Cerulean Drake I've run into a lot of red decks again, which is a good thing, so we run some Cerulean Drakes. It's just nice to be able to get in the way of your mono reds, or in the case of Cerulean Drake, it's oftentimes very good against your, I guess you'd call it Is It Drake's style decks. 2 Archons of Emeria. The Archon basically forces each opponent to play 1 spell a turn, which as a control deck we want to do. We don't want our opponents to try and be burying us in advantage in tempo if we can, because this deck can lose to tempo pretty easily. 2 Mystical Disputes against other control matchups, or if you get really bold and run into a mono blue tempo, you can always try and get this in. Of course, I have mixed results with this. I'm running 2 Settle the Wreckage, because again, the reemergence of aggro, it's nice to have a couple more sweepers to bring in the sideboard for game 2. And I have 1 copy of Heliod's Intervention. It can either be a panic, we need to gain a little life, or if they're running a lot of if we're a mono brown deck, or some like heavy artifact or enchantment based deck, we can also bring in the Heliod's Intervention. With that, we'll, as usual, we'll do our, say, 2 games trying to show off the deck, and then that'll be it for the video. In the off chance you happen to only stay for the deck tech, which is fine, of course I have to urge you to do all the YouTube things of, if you like the video, like it. If you like me, sub to me. And if you have any questions about, say, budget replacements, if you don't have X, what can I run in place of it, or any sort of nice and constructive criticism, that's what the comments are for. With that, if you're leaving, thank you for watching. If you're not, let's head on to Game 2. Alright, we're now in Game number 1 of Sea Creature Control in Historic Best of 3. And because we have a brain, we'll go ahead and play first. 3 lands, 4 spells, all of them 3 cost, yeah. Might as well not look a gift horse in the mouth, I suppose. Suppose we're waiting on our opponent now. Again, as a Azorius-based control deck, we're gonna want to go long and draw into our, late game win conditions like your Ugins, or even have your, your assorted sea creatures kind of help you turn the corner. Let's see, Temple of Triumph from our opponent. Might as well play the Ominous Seas. Just start ticking away. Not a lot of Boros in the meta as far as I've been able to tell. I think he's likely some 5-color shenaniganery. I think we'll go ahead and just play the Seagate tapped since we don't have much else to do. Our opponent has shown access to all 5 colors, right? Red, white, green, black, white, red, and blue. 5 colors, so he could be Gates. He could be, at least in order of likelihood. Opponent could be Gates, some sort of Niv Mizzet Reborn. They do have the World Tree sleeves, so I suppose it's possible that they are like some God Tree combo deck thing. Little concerned that our Skyclave and our Skyclaves and our deputies here will be a little dead for the immediate future. Probably going to be leaning fairly hard on this Dovin's Veto. It is the World Tree. Forgot this card. Q2 lab, blah, 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 blah. Honestly, I think we're going to act... no, I can actually... Well, apparition that. You can go ahead and get the basic land card. That's fine. We want to really deny him the activated ability. It's gonna suck to not have access to like a counter spell because we didn't draw a land. Still the appropriate thing to do. Oh boy. Pardon my wheezing nature. It is. Okay, so it is some weird-ish. Let's see. Prismatic Bridge is 5 cost. Does that... As I understand these cards, I should be able to do this, right? Because the whole reason the Cascade mechanic got fucky is that it considers the front half of the the front side of the card in the CMC cost. So we're going to try this. This might not work, but I believe that it will. I'm sorry, it doesn't. So when it's on the board... Okay, we've lost then. That's fine. Sometimes we just need to test things out. They are some very wonky BS. Bring in a couple Archons. Slow them down from doing too much crazy shit. Grafdigger's Cage, so they can't actually find the... what's it called? or they can't look through the library for gods, and we'll probably get one divine or one Heliod's intervention to help deal with some dumb shit. I think we're gonna take out the Doomskars and just replace them with settles. We want to be able to interact at instant speed. The Nexus is not going to be needed. As we discovered in the deck tech, that's more of a, like, game one kind of thing. Honestly, we can probably take out a Deputy and a Skyclave. They don't play a whole lot of creatures to bounce, so we'll cut down on one Slim Voda. Probably... What's the last one we'll cut? Honestly, it might just be in the other Skyclave. I gotta be honest, this is the first World Tree combo I've encountered in the wild, so there is that. Again, play first. I mean, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it is things to do. We'll go ahead and Temple on one. Hi, Caramel Honey. Pardon me. We'll go ahead and keep it. This way we have basically two finishers. Slim Voda's not a great finisher, but goddammit, he's not thematically appropriate. The next turn we'll play the Hallowed Fountain untapped, and then we'll just foretell a Behold the Multiverse. Probably, depending, unless we draw something crazy, it'll probably be a Temple and then just sitting on the Behold mana. Let's see, the Fabled Passage. Turn 1 for a Forest. Turn 2, play an Island and Path to the World Tree. Well, I mean... So it's 7 mana, right? Wooburg and 2, correct? Oh, that actually... Let's see. We'll go ahead and play the Grafdigger's Cage since we drew it. And on their end step. Like a responsible control player, we shall cast our card draw then. As you are supposed to do. Ah, boy. I'd be very surprised if they have much in the way of interaction. Do we... I don't think we need the Ominous Seas, actually, since we have two other kind of finishers. Go ahead and might turn it. We'll play the Temple. See what we get off the top. Lands are... Well, actually... Land is actually not an awful thing here. They will play the Archon, hopefully slowing down not only the amount of spells they can play, but non-basics entering the battlefield tapped can be more relevant against five-color decks than one would imagine. Alright, that's an option. Don't know why that was a card you run, but that's cool. Let's see, we're on 5 mana, we have the 6th land in hand, so I guess we can just play a Kraken and sit. If nothing else, we can always put a counter on the Kraken and slowly build our board. That's a weird card, but it's not bad. Let's see, plays a Plains. Whirlwind of Thought. Okay, this is like the cockiest dude. We'll go ahead and foretell the Alrund's Epiphany. Probably played as a blue source. And then we'll just start swinging. This way, if we don't draw a land, we can always take another turn with the Epiphany and try and make something happen. And hopefully draw into, say, another land and then make something happen, to be more correct. That's very annoying, but what are you going to do? 1, 2, 3. I guess we'll go ahead and play the Epiphany now. Look for some land drops, try and buy some time. Actually, I think we can... We didn't draw land, which does suck a little bit, but I think we'll get rid of the Clothis, since that's going to be very important to him, you know, not dying. Again, if we don't draw a land, we can always just Epiphany again, time walk another turn, and see what happens. Again, begging your pardon for the wheezing nature of my voice and my lungs right now. Our opponent's just kind of sitting on his hands. As creature mutates, you may cast a non-creature card cost 3 or less from your graveyard. What 3-cost spell do you have? From his graveyard, right? Well, I mean, that's a thing you can do, I suppose. Yeah, you can do that. It's not exactly going to win any awards, but can't complain too much. I think we'll go ahead and play the Seagate untapped, and we'll just play a Kiora, seeing how if he mutates it, he might get back a Maelstrom Pulse and kill the Kiora, but we actually sort of really just care about the Kraken at this point. Everything else is a little extra. Is this one of the... No, Elemental Dinosaur Cat. None of those are applicable, so that's good. We can go ahead and chump block each of the attackers with one of the birds. And that's an option. It does resolve. Our opponent is doing things. He might not attack here. Again, we'll go ahead and chump. We actually value the life here. That's kind of funny. We'll go ahead and just play another one, I guess. Again, if he's able to mutate it, we gotta just make him have it. I suppose if he brings back my apparition and gets rid of the Grafdigger's Cage, that would be terribly not cool. But that's... He has to get another turn, and odds are we're going to Epiphany and just try and close the game out this way. He has been shown to run Shatter the Sky, so I don't think he has a settle like we do. Of course, it could be wrong and might totally eat those words later. If he attacks with the Vadrock, or whatever his name is. Yeah, Vadrock. We will again block with a bird. We're in a good spot. We don't mind losing the bird, especially if we're about to get another one. Huh. Altar of the Pantheon. Is it increasing your devotion to each color in each color? Each combination of colors is increased by 1. What the hell is that? Quickest from town, one target non-creature it gains with non-token creature. That's a little fucking irritating, but that's fine. Again, we would like to have... Oh, that's right, I can't fucking cast it because of the second thing. That fucking sucks. He does have to block with one of these, so we don't care as much. Again, he can get back an Archon or a Skyclave or a Kraken, but that is it in the way of creatures or walkers. We don't want to give him another Kaya. Oh, God. Man, just is killing me. Again, begging your pardon for my alien conditions. Now we have 2 particular... Oh, I guess he can get that back, but I don't... Yeah. What are you doing? Oh, yeah, I guess he can't return from graveyards. I'm an idiot. Grafdigger's Cage is amazing. I had totally forgotten about that. It's almost like I don't play this particular card a lot because I'm not seeing many matchups where it's useful. See what our opponent does. He could search for the World Tree. Or I think he can actually literally... Oh, God. Double Wooberg. 1, 2, 3, 4... pardon me. 5, 6, 7, 8... I don't think that lets him live, but I might be wrong. Unless you can field another blocker, which is possible, granted. Our opponent does field the blocker. So we play the Epiphany, or hang on, we'll take an extra turn after this one. Wanted to make sure that was worded correctly. So the play is going to be, we will attack with both, put a stop on our second main, force him to make trades. The Time Walk will basically give us another attack in which he can only block one due to Kaya's +1 ability, creating a spirit token on the God of the Tree. Time walking another turn. And we're not going to be rude to our opponent. Good. Yay! Booyah! Bang bang! And that's basically how you want to win the game. The Time Walk effects are useful to get that one extra turn in that you might otherwise not have. And the ability to foretell it and cash it away, as well as the ability to make 2 little bird blockers, either to attack or to chump block if needed. Personally, I believe makes it far better than those than what one would originally think or assume. So there's that. Let's see. 3 lands, 4 spells, things to do. Probably Temple on 1. Or, sorry. Cage on 1. I was going to say Temple on 2, but we actually might just play a forest, or an island. And foretell a prophecy, just kind of sit on it. Growth Spiral, that's a good card. Didn't actually draw another land, which is very good. Didn't draw a land or have a land in his hand, so if he bricks a land, he might actually just scoop. And I wouldn't blame him. Okay, plays a Path of the World Tree and draws it that way. Likely what he drew off of the Growth Spiral. Which is an option from our opponent. We'll go ahead and take the turn off and play the Temple and Scry. I don't think we need the land right now. I think we can afford to look for a little more gas. Opponent looking for a land drop. Sees the cage. Plays a Cultivate. We'd rather counter the thing he ramps into as opposed to the ramp itself. He hasn't played a land drop, so he can play that mountain. Which is something. Honestly, we'll just take another turn off and play the Gates of Istfell. Again, we're a control deck. We don't mind running tap lands, and the ability to cash in for some life with some card draw later is very, very useful. Basically a better... what's that? Memorial to Genius from Dominaria. Opponent playing lands and doing not a whole hell of a lot. You know what? Because he has 2 of them on the field, and I don't think we're going to get a better situation to do this in, I believe we'll play Plains, play our Deputy of Detention, and then just kind of sit on it. We might actually fizzle some sort of removal spell, seeing how he's sitting really up there in mana. He can already... or he's already turned on the World Tree as the color fixing, or the World Tree's color fixing mode. Begging your pardon. Scorpion God is a god. That is an option. I suppose the real question is, he can put 2 counters on my thing. So I guess we just play the Epiphany and look for maybe a land. We won't attack, because we're not going to give it away for free. Go ahead and play it as a blue source. Let's see. Might as well play this Cure Best of Sea God and attack with the 2 birds. Seeing how odds are, the Deputy of Detention is not long for this world. With any luck, we might even be able to take the Scorpion God from him, or some other particularly noteworthy card. I mean, hell, depending on what happens, we might, pardon, be able to take the World Tree. Wait from our opponent, see what they do. Whirlwind of thought. Let's see, if he puts a 1/1 counter on the blocker, 1, 2, 3. I'm weirdly gonna leave it alive because I want the possibility of taking it. Well, that's a little fucking irritating. Or a lot fucking irritating. That's super fucking upsetting. So we'll play the Kraken, foretell the Epiphany, and just sit on a Dovin's Veto. Again, if he plays it this turn, we are not opposed to taking it. If he doesn't take it, seeing how we have the cage out, I think we still... Let's see what our opponent does. We're in a weird spot here. It is any land, right? Gain control of target permanent and opponent controls. Untap it. Again, we're kind of alright with that. However, let it be known that that might have been the wrong play. Go ahead and decline. I think we might have fucked that up by not countering that. So there is that. Yeah, we fucked up by not countering that. It's the whole not feeling good fucking with my ability to play. Let it be known that we could have probably turned the corner and win if we would have used the Dovin's Veto. I just totally spaced it. I suppose we can do another best of 3. I am still happy with the deck. It's, for the most part, shown what it is and is supposed to do. So there is that. And hopefully we don't brick. But also, again, begging your pardon if you couldn't tell from my subtle dying. I'm not feeling it 100%. But by God, I had a schedule to keep. That's not too bad. Probably play the Seagate untapped. See what our opponent does. They also have some Azorius sleeves. I imagine they're playing an Azorius deck of some description. Suppose we could play a Plains and still keep the vetoes up, depending on what our opponent does. If they do anything. Our opponent's there. Just happened to take his very sweet time. Plays a Fabled Passage, even though the correct play is to wait until... Oh, you're killing me, brother, with a slow roll. There you go. Even though the correct play, in parentheses you can't see me make, is to wait until my turn. I was about to say, we're all adults here. We can hurry this the hell along. Another desert. Ooh, Monumental Mill. Alright, that's a spicy meatball. I'm down. Again, we'll just hold up a Dovin's Veto. Usually cards like that are more scary. Maybe we can keep a Skyclave Apparition for that blue creature guy, Bruvak, or whatever his name is. That, like, doubles the effectiveness of all your mill. It's a mono blue deck. Running Fabled Passage. That's fine. Sucks to lose the Time Walk, but that's not really that important. I think we'll go ahead and foretell the Behold the Multiverse. And again, just wait for our opponent to cast something worth vetoing. No land drop is awfully telling, however. Cast Behold the Multiverse and see what we can find. Unless our opponent's running a counter for it. Ah, didn't say please. Again, I like to cut your jib, brother. It is my turn, however. I'm weirdly going to play the Nexus. I think, like, casting a creature is going to be more... Or being able to cast unit for a creature is actually going to be somewhat relevant here. Now, we don't have any sort of, like, clear mind in the deck, so we're, like, losing a lot of good shit here. So I'm not going to lie here. That's a little fucking rough. We'll just go ahead and pass, I guess, though goddamn, that feels miserable. Merfolk, okay, so the Secret Keeper doesn't get bounced, which is arguably good, but the Crab does get bounced. We might... Pardon. I don't think his deck wins against, Mill, to be entirely frank. Dovin's Veto can't be countered, because he appears to be holding up things like Didn't Say Pleases and whatever the other Thought Collapse, whatever the hell that card's called, it is. Do the same thing. Hold up an absorb. Hopefully cast something relatively important. Oh yes, back to my original point of milling. I don't have anything like Clear the Mind or whatever that blue card is, so we're in a little trouble. If he has the counter spell, he has it, which I believe he does. But again, that's losing 3 cards as opposed to 8. Yes, 8. It's our opponent's turn. Actually going to go ahead and ping this thing in. We're going to Skyclave the Crab, unless they happen to want to save their counterspell for something like this. To be entirely frank, if we need to... Okay, that's kind of what I thought would happen. But if we need to, we will just play the one Slim Voda as just like the dude in question without the kicker. Oh, God. It's a little brutal. Oh, that's why he's running it for the landfall triggers. Since a deck like this doesn't really mind taking the turn off to, like, do it. I don't feel good about our chances here. Honestly, it's totally worth it. If he has the counter, he has it. But yeah, it's worth losing a measly little 3/3. I forgot about this card. At the beginning of your upkeep, target opponent mills 3 cards. Then you draw a card from each land card to mill this way. It was Bruvak. I was right. I was just making shit up on the fly. Oh boy. Okay, I think this guy's got our number. But again, mono blue mill. I like what you're doing. We are fucked. We have 2 cards. We'll give him the win. It's not very often that you find like a nice spicy deck. So he's earned that one. I mean, I have the potential to be a real pain in the ass, but I'm not a monster. Well, come on, you didn't need to play the land. Just pass the turn. A little overkill, dude. Unless you're going for like casting blue spells for a quest. Go ahead and just use the Nexus now so we turn off the ability to give me priority. GG, well played. A little BM at the end, but if you're playing Mill, you're already a questionable character. I tease and I kid. Honestly, I think it's just mystical disputes. Probably not going to use the Slin Voda or a second Kiora. We just need to, like... I mean, I don't know if this deck is tech or practically capable of, like, turning into a more aggressive deck, but we can sure as hell try. I would imagine Mono Blue Mill is effectively a inverse burn deck. So you don't really run a lot of interaction, unlike you would with, like, a... what's it called? Like a traditional burn deck can actually use the burn spells as removal. Mono Blue Mill, or Mill in general, doesn't really have as much interaction. I don't care really at all if we're just like face up with this thing. It's far more important that like we actually get in. From our opponent. Drown secrets. Get that shit out of here. We use the tempo counter first. Hell. Yeah, we can wait on the Ominous Seas. I don't want to, but we can. Next turn we'll play a Hallowed Fountain. I think we're actually going to counter that. It might seem like a bad like use of mana, and you could argue it is, but I just don't want to give him any particular in, especially when he does something like that. Again, I'm going to go ahead and play the Ominous Seas. I don't know if this is going to terribly turn on, because boy oh boy, that requires me to draw cards, and we are not going to have a lot of cards to draw. Go ahead and counter that with a Dovin's Veto. We'll actually try and save up for the Seagate Restoration at this point, seeing how that could potentially give us a Kraken from Ominous Seas, a little bit ahead of turn, or ahead of where it's supposed to be. Just playing the Secret Keeper is an option. Drawing lands is goddamn brutal. It's a 7-mana card. That's not good. Oh, please stop drawing me lands, man. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Correct. It's not a great card draw thing, but we literally need to do something. Okay, we have a Doomskar. That is something. Oh, that's gonna be fucking miserable. Out of 32 cards. Oh, the fact that we drew an Ugin is actually incredible. Let's go ahead and get rid of him now. And since we can't cast anything, we might as well foretell the Behold the Multiverse. I'm not like totally over the fence about potentially exiling my own ish, because I'm not gonna lie, that sucks a lot. That would have been a nice card to have. Please stop milling me, but it probably needs to happen, otherwise we're going to die. Oh, now that I think about it, it literally won't matter, since the Kraken is a blue token and it is a one color, so it will literally be exiled by Teferi or by Ugin no matter what. Both of his cards are 3 mana, so we'll go ahead and play Ugin and down tick for 3. I'm a little adverse to drawing cards in this matchup. Let it be known. Bruvak's 4 health, so it doesn't die to an Ugin bolt. Oh boy. Which is a little more relevant than I would like to admit. We have 25 cards. Maddening Cacophony. I think this Behold the Multiverse is literally just going to be stranded in our hands, which sucks a lot of ass. I think we just need to start applying pressure, so we're just going to start sending bolts up top. Yeah, Behold the Multiverse just is not going to happen here. What does that Maddening Cacophony cost? 2 plus an extra 4 is 6. What fuck? This sucks ass. I don't know if we'll be able to turn the corner, but man, I'm gonna try my ass off. Okay, that would have been a fucking great card to have, not gonna lie. Thank God he didn't have the crap out of us. We really fucked. Maybe we actually do and try and look for something to get rid of that. Let it be known, this might be a fucking awful idea. Yeah, actually, that's not bad. We're just looking to close out the game, and this is the only way we're going to be able to. We got to try and race them. So we have 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12. Oh boy, this is going to be fucking close. The fact that I could not Dovin's Veto that is not lost on me, and oh, you gotta be fucking shitting me. I don't know if there's a way we win here. Fucking that sucks ass. Fuck, that sucks. Let's see, your opponent has 12 cards. Sorcery, he escapes, and mills. We have 2 cards. If I don't do this, he draws. So I think, I don't know if this gets us out, but I think it's the only chance we have. I think we have to, is it 4? Oh no, we win. We win. Cast the second Ugin. Keep, choose the legendary permanent you wish to keep. We want to keep the new one, and then bolt that one second time. Oh, thank God. I thought I was going to punt that really bad. Boy. For the most part, I believe that we're doing a good job of showing off the deck today. Pardon me, I do have a text message that's actually kind of important. Again, this is a pretty good hand. Not going to win any awards, but we can turn to sit on a Doomskar, or take away a Doomskar for later use. Go ahead and Temple of Enlightenment for something good to draw. That is not something good. I actually need to play Plains next turn in order to meet the 2 white quota. It will suck if he plays a buttload of blue spells, but at least we can Skyclave Apparition both of them away, actually, which is very good. Which is good. We're drawing the disruption we need to mess with his game plan. Next turn, honestly, we'll probably just be doing the same thing. Artifact's a little goddamn brutal. Play a blue source. Yeah, we're gonna stick with the original plan. We will take the Drowned Secrets. Next turn we can get the Deputy of Detention. No point in attacking with the Aspirant, seeing how he will just block regardless of what we do. It is also granted the correct play, so I can't hold it against him too much. Go ahead and play the Plains, play the Deputy. Probably has a counterspell of some description, which does suck. That's kind of what I thought would happen. Go ahead and foretell a Behold the Multiverse. We're in some real fucking trouble. Because I believe he has already milled our other two aspirants. Or apparitions, sorry. That fucking sucks. Yeah, this doesn't feel good. Gotta be honest. Go ahead and just behold the multiverse now. We gotta find something. Mystical Dispute is not that something. That will do, actually. Gonna go ahead and get rid of the Bruvac, and we need to take a turn off to hit their Ashiok. Play the Plains. We are in about as good of a position as one could hope to be. Nothing else, we'll probably just play a Pathway for the blue, tuck the other Doomskar, and just kind of wait. Oh good, another one. That's lovely. We'll go ahead and shock this in instead. Foretell this. I don't think there's any combat trick in the world that saves him. I'm a little concerned that this isn't going to be enough of a clock to terribly matter. Gonna Dovin's Veto that bad boy. Get that the hell out of here. He might have another one, but it's one of those, if he does, we just have to make him have it and use it. Sometimes it sucks being right. I'm sorry. Oh god. You know what I don't need is a goddamn Plains game. You know what? This is gonna seem really dumb, but I'm actually gonna double sweep here. I mean, this isn't like win us the game, but it like buys us time. Or hopefully more time. Probably play this for a blue. And hope that the Kraken can outrace this, even though I don't think it can. I actually needed that. I needed literally a Deputy of Detention here to like win this game. Place this, we go down. Fucking shit. And then he, yep, that's fine. We're not going to give him the second one. He's already gotten the thing. But yes, that was Sea Creature Control. It's a fun deck. It's worth a shot. And if you're a control player and you're tired of playing blue-white in the traditional way, why not have some fun? I don't think it's going to go on the list of cards that make it now in the regular rotation. But it is fun. We'll go ahead and get a Kaldheim pack real fast and open that on this video. And then, as usual, I will show the deck one last time in case anybody wants to play this deck themselves. Oh yes, this awful card. But with all that out of the way, I just want to say thank you all for watching. Again, if you like the video, or the deck in question, like the video. If you like me, go ahead and sub to the channel. And if you have any sort of questions, constructive questions, mind you, say about, like, say, sort of budget considerations, or should I run X instead of Y if I don't have X? Go ahead and leave them in the comments below. With that out of the way, thank you all, and stay safe.